Hello, my name is Lana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be telling you what are my reading plans, reading challenges for 2024. Earlier today I filmed the video about my 2023 reading challenges, how they went. It's probably already out, so you can go check out that video. If you've seen that video with the results of my 2023 reading challenges, you know that a bunch of them got cancelled in the middle of the year when I realized that I'm no longer interested in pursuing that challenge, or I don't have time for it, or I think it was mostly I wasn't interested anymore. So I think this year I want to have fewer challenges, but ones that I can actually stick to and that I'm excited about. And the two most successful challenges that I did last year, I want to bring them back and do them again this year, and that is read my sister's favorites, or rather my sister's recommendations, and the buzzword reading challenge. Okay, let's start with read my sister's recommendations. Ooh. So what books are gonna be on it? First, it's Nudge, which is a book about behavioral economics. It's a nonfiction book that she recommended me the year before, and this was the only book from last year's challenge that I did not end up reading, so I'm transferring it to this year. I will read this book this year, I promise. So let me add that up. Nudge. Next book I think is her favorite best book of last year, and that is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I think that is correct. The amount of, I don't know, joy and excitement that I got to see her experience while reading this book, and as I said, she ended up giving it 5 stars, and it was one of the best books she read last year, or maybe is the best one, I don't remember. It's a thriller, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. It speaks directly to the audience, and someone gets killed, but every single person in this book could be a suspect. Everyone is shady and a killer and whodunit, basically. I think I misspoke, and this is a mystery, not a thriller, but I don't know, I've not read it. So let's add that to the list. Everyone in My Family. Next is another book that she absolutely adored, again, I was with her when she read it. It was during our trip in Turkey, and it is Project Hail Mary. Now, we are not space people. We are not sciencey people. I've known about this book for a long time, but I know I don't enjoy sci-fi. I know I don't enjoy space books. I have tried some space books, and yeah, the topic, the atmosphere, I don't care about space. So when she picked it up primarily because she heard so many people talk about it, and she really wanted to see what was the hype about, how is it that good? Obviously having reservations about this is, a lot of physics and space, and let's see if it's actually good. And she was so happy with it. She just kept talking about how yes, it's a lot of science, but it's so well explained, and it's so interesting, and it makes you actually care about this. And she was so excited, and she basically said that if I don't read it, she's not gonna talk to me. So I'm gonna read this book. And I'm very excited because, I mean, nothing in this tells me that I'm gonna like it, but I saw her just be so surprised by how much she loved it, and I really want to feel that too. So I have big hopes for this one. Next is another book that she heard a lot of people talk about, and that she herself wasn't sure if she would like it, but she ended up absolutely loving it, and that is All the Light We Cannot See. And again, this is once again a book that I've known about for a very long time, for many years, but I knew this was World War II, and I felt like, I've read enough books on that subject, and I don't feel anything towards this one, so I never thought to pick it up. But she did, and she said that it's absolutely wonderful, and it's not like a heavy book. It's pretty light, and because it's from a perspective of kids, it's kind of interesting to see how kids sort of would explain to themselves what was happening around them during the war. And yeah, again, she was absolutely enthralled, and she told me to read it, so adding this to the list. Two books that I'm gonna put in brackets because I want to read them too, and they were on my TBR before she read them, so I feel like it's important to point out that these were not like recommended to me and I was not interested in them. I wanted to read them first, but she just got to them first, and I guess these are also her recommendations because she loved these books and she wants me to read them, but they were on my TBR first, so I'm gonna mention them, but they're not like really on this list because they're my TBR. And that is Guards by Terry Pratchett. This is the Discworld book that has to deal with, like, well, the police system, and I was told that this one is one of the closest ones to like a murder mystery in the Discworld, and I love a murder mystery, so I'm very excited about this one. And the second book from my TBR, but that she read first, is Babel, and I don't think I need to really explain to you why I want to read Babel, but yeah, she loved it and is gigantic, and I can't wait to read it this year. Another challenge that I'm thinking of doing, which I have not thought really through before filming, so I apologize if this is a little raw, but I do have a bunch of classics in my physical TBR that have been waiting for their time, and I really want to get to, I don't want to say all of them, but I want to get to some of them, maybe most of them. I'm going to call this challenge just read my classics. So what do I have here? I have Far from the Madding Crowd, which I was planning already to read it this year, that I'm very, very, very excited about. I'm adding this one to the list. What is it? Far from the Madding Crowd. Next is another book that I'm definitely prioritizing this year because I've waited too long, and that is Jane Eyre. I'm not gonna say anything else because I'm a little embarrassed that it's here, but you know. Jane Eyre. Am I intimidated? Yes. Very, very intimidated. Over 500 pages. We can do it. Then I have 3 Jane Austen books. Three. I started collecting these editions of Jane Austen a while back because I wanted to reread the books. The only time I read Jane Austen was when I was 13, 14, and I did read them in Russian. So I had this like project in mind that I'm gonna finally reread Jane Austen in the original English. I did start Persuasion. I have a bookmark here. This is how far I've gone. Not far enough. It was just the wrong time for me to read it, and because of that, because I kind of stopped in the beginning of Persuasion, I ended up not trying Pride and Prejudice and Northanger Abbey, both books that I love. I don't remember Persuasion quite as well, but these two were my favorites, so it should be fine. And I feel like I just need to start. I need to get through it. I need to get used to the rhythm and the style, and it's gonna be great. So I didn't want to like add all my classics to this challenge, but I think I will. Oh God, okay, I'm gonna add all of them. Will I regret this? Pride and Prejudice. Then it's Persuasion and I can never remember how it's out. Northanger. And the last one, I don't know if I can really count this as a classic. Well, it's a modern classic. It's Arthur Miller, Death of a Salesman. It's a play. It's a small play. And I started it and I stopped at page 20. There's no excuse. It's a play. It's a short book. I'm an actor. I love plays. What's wrong? Why can't I read this? So definitely adding this as well. Oh my god, so I basically ended up putting all the classics I have on this list. But you know what? It feels, now that like when I talk about each book separately, it's fine. Like they're not scary, and there is a reason why they're on my TBR, because I want to read them, because I am interested, because I've had the urge to read them, so I bought the book. But when they're all together, it looks so scary. It looks like such a big book, but it's not. I just need to like separate the books so they are like separate entities and not one giant classics monster. Death of a Salesman. Okay, so we have 2 challenges, and the third one, there's not gonna be any more. The last challenge that I'm gonna do this year, let me move this a little here, is the buzzword reading challenge. Just as I did last year, I want to go through each month and the prompt and the options that I have from my TBR, and maybe you can also recommend some book for a particular prompt that maybe I'm struggling with. There are some that I'm struggling with. Okay, so this is the reading challenge sheet. Let's start in January. The prompt is the words there, or there. And I only have 3 books on my TBR, and the book that I'm most excited about is There's Been a Little Incident, which is an Irish book, and it sounds so good. It sounds so interesting, and I really want to read it, but I can't find it anywhere. Any places where I usually go for books, it's not there. But a book that was easily available to me was There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job, so I think I'm gonna go for that. The book In Their Shoes, which is about the non-binary experience, is one that it's been on my TBR for a while that I really want to get to, but again, it's really hard for me to find it easily, and so I think I'm gonna go with There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job. I have not started it yet, but I have time. I think it's a like tiny book, so I think it's gonna be fine. For February, the prompt was positive words, and that was really hard to find because I love murder mysteries, so it's a lot of murder and death and stuff, but not really positive words. But I did find these 2 books, and I think I'm gonna go with Nudge because it's also in my other reading challenge, so I can just do both. For March, it's character names, a lot of books. By the way, for some of these, there are so many options on my TBR that I only like chose the ones that stood out to me the most. So I think I might have more books with character names in them, but for some reason I ended up just choosing these ones. And as you can see, there's Jane Eyre, which is also on my classics shelf, so I might go with this one. But there's so many books here that I want to read, like every single one. Like I own this one on ebook. I'm very excited about it. I think I have the audiobook of this one or this one. I don't remember which one. Heard so many great things about this, and this is like, I'm just so excited about all these books. So I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. April is Nature Words, and we have some books here. Honestly, this book, At Dusk, I have no memory of it. I have no idea what it is, when I added it to my TBR, so I will need to go through each book again before the month to see what is this book about. Do I want to read it, and obviously can I access it. I added Unravel the Dusk because this is the sequel to I think it's Duology, and I have read the first book. Don't ask me what it's called. I don't remember. it's been a few years since I read that one, but I remember I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a 5-star, but it was pretty good. So I thought it would be like a great time to finish a series, though I don't really care about finishing series that much. Dinosaur Artist, I'm pretty sure I heard about this book from Aubrey Approves. Winter's Orbit, that it's been on so many of my TBRs because I've been recommended it specifically, that like I will love it, and I keep not reading it. Also because it's sci-fi, and as I've mentioned when I talked about Project Hail Mary, I'm not a sci-fi girl, so I'm a little intimidated, but maybe I should actually read it and stop torturing myself. Okay, let's move on to May. In May, the word is every. Again, I have a book here from my other challenge, which I can do. A bunch of, like, I want to read every single one book. Like, this is one of those months where, like, I realized that all of these books are from my TBR, so I'm already interested in these books because I put them on my TBR. But this month particularly, like, I'm so excited about all of these books. I would love to read them all. This is a very fun one about why in the alphabet the letters are organized the way they are. Anyway, next, June, repeating words. This one is tough. Also because this is not the kind of prompt where you can just search something in the like search of your TBR and get a result. Like, you have to actually scroll through your TBR. And my TBR is pretty long, and I think by like the middle of it, my eyes just, I can't see or recognize words anymore. But this is one that I did manage to notice because it has what I have told you, this, have I told you this already, and then stories I don't want to forget to remember. And I actually already started this. I started this last year. It's on my phone, on my ebook, and I sometimes on the subway open it and read it, but it's not like a constant read. So I might want to prioritize this next year to finally finish the book. I'm really enjoying it. I love Lauren Graham. But besides this, there are a lot of books that have like the and the, or like a. So I think closer to this month, I will just have to again look through my TBR and see if there are any books that have these like repeating elements that I actually want to prioritize, because this would have been too big of a list and I was lazy. July are any books that have measurements in them. And that's like a measure, any kind of measurement. So I went with temperature. So I have Stone Cold Fox. I have the book of cold cases. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, good. Cold Fox, Cold Cases, My Life Solving America's Cold Crimes. Then I have Light. So there's the Dark Queens, Dark Fire, After Dark. And I have actually like Time and like Weeks. These are the only ones that I could come up with for my TBR, but again, there are enough books here that I'm very excited about. Particularly, well, I own this book, so I definitely want to read it because I've been putting it off long enough, and this is a great excuse to actually pick up a book I already own. I listen to Paul Holes on podcast every week, multiple days a week. Sometimes I'll listen to old episodes. That is the podcast Buried Bones. Kate Winkler Dawson and Paul Holes host that podcast. They go through cold cases and he kind of analyzes it from the point of view of modern forensics, which is awesome. And so like I feel like I spend a lot of time with this man, and I would love to get to know more about him and read his memoir. I also read a book by Simone St. James last year, Broken Girls, which I really enjoyed, so I'm excited about reading more from her. After Dark is a Murakami book that I've been interested in a while. I love self-help books. I love anything that explains to me how I can be more organized and more healthy, and just this is everything I want. I hear so many people make fun of self-help books and saying how like it's not for them, and honestly I don't understand. I love self-help books so much, and this one I've heard great things about. In August, the word is like, and this is the only book on my TBR that has the word like. And I'm very excited the fact that this is the book that is the only one, because I'm actually like very interested in it. I've heard so many great things. It's on so many people's best books of the year. I only really remember that it's set in Ireland, and it does talk about the church and society and community and all of those topics I really enjoy. If you have any recommendations for me with books that have like in the title, let me know, because I found none on my TBR. Next we have September, and the prompt is senses. 3 books. I found 3 books on my TBR, and that is sounds and sweet airs. I feel like sound can be considered like part of like this words of senses, right? Because you hear it, so like sounds. I don't know, maybe this is a stretch. As the Wicked Watch, and Biased, uncovering the hidden prejudice that shapes what we see. So a lot of eye action here. Nothing about taste, nothing about smell. Yeah, really nothing else. And all 3 books I'm excited about. This one was actually one of the possibilities for I think it was December in the Buzzword reading challenge last year, and I ended up not reading it. So I kind of feel like maybe I should actually get to it, since I've already added it twice to a possible TBR. We'll see. This is a like mystery thriller, and this is a very popular nonfiction book that people seem to really enjoy. And yeah, October, relationships. I have a sister, I found a daughter, I found a stranger. I don't know, is a stranger like a relationship? But I feel like if we are friends or we are enemies and we are strangers is also something that people are like. I feel like this can be a relationship. Ancestor is a stretch. I'm not sure if I can use ancestor, but then again, I think this book does not have the greatest reviews, and maybe I should just take it off my TBR. The cover is so pretty. But The Other Bennett Sister, heard incredible things, and actually if I get to Pride and Prejudice before October, before this book, it would be perfect, because then I would just be like fresh from that world into a different reimagining of it. So that would be great. I heard so many great things about The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. It is YA, which makes me a little unsure, because I think with each year YA appeals to me less and less, but that also means that I should read it as fast as I can, because it will probably not appeal, like it will appeal to me even less if I wait in the future. So I need to read it as soon as possible. So we'll see if that happens. And The Second Stranger is this like book about an isolated place that has like an inn, and it's snowed in, and there's a man who comes in and says, I just been in an accident, I'm like this like policeman or FBI or whatever person, and I was transporting a prisoner, a very like dangerous criminal, and he escaped. And then another man comes in and asks for to be, you know, to wait out the snowstorm that's happening, and he says the same story of I have this prisoner that escaped and I'm trying to find him. And so this innkeeper has to like figure out which one is the dangerous criminal and which one is the like police person. It sounds so good. It sounds so good. In November, the word is only, and this is the only book on my TBR with the word only, and I don't mind, because Riley Sager, I've had like a little break from Riley Sager. I probably did not read the last 3 books he published, but I have read most, if not all, of the books before the last 3. So I know I enjoy his writing style. I know I like his books. So I would be very happy to go back to reading his work. In December, the prompt is holiday words. And that Kayla said that this can be like anything. literally anything. If you think holiday and you think Easter, and when you think Easter, you think like eggs or hunt. Hunt could be a holiday word for you then. So this is like such a big category then that by the time I got to December, I was very tired. So I only, as you can see, I only added one book, but I have a lot of more books for this prompt for this month. So I think I will just wait till, I don't know, November or October or even December and see what's on my mind, what do I want to prioritize at the end of the year, and which one of those books can I fit into this prompt. But yeah, The Brightlands, it's a thriller that's been on my TBR for a long time, so I was glad to be reminded of it. So this is my tentative plan for the Buzzword Reading Challenge for this year. As I said, let me know if there are any other books that would fit these prompts that you really recommend to me, that I add them to my list of possibilities. And yeah, these are my 3 reading challenges for the year. Read my sister's recommendations, read all the classics that I own. I did not start this video thinking that this would happen, so this is a big deal for me. And the Buzzword Reading Challenge, I wish myself luck. I feel like this is all possible. I can do it and I will do it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!